Hi traders, we've just had the close in the Dow, so I just want to go through with you how I handle this today. The close of the Dow is really good, but let me just show you what I was seeing. If you put the fibs on this Dow, on this last Dow move here, look at this hammer. We've had some good days, some really good days up here. One wave up, pulls back to the fibs. Another wave up, pulls back, breaks out, and then pulls right back to the support today. So this is why it's so important just to talk to yourself, talk through the story that you're seeing in these charts, and then we had this hammer here. But watch what happens when I do this. Make sure I get this right. Well, there's a trend line you could have put there, which shows you picks off this support. This is the trend line I was actually watching from the highs up here to the first test of the highs here. It comes right down here, and you can see that this hammer here is, it's extended. It's come away from the trend line. So having come up and kissed it, it's pulled right back and then bust the way through it. So I was taking when I was trading in the smaller time frames, I was taking the break of this hammer. But look what happens here. We actually, in the main US session, we break up here, we put a little sitting bar on, little stopping bar on the trend line itself, we move up, we pull back, and then into the last half an hour, we just pull up from these lows here. So I was buying down here and then got the propulsion into the close from that one. If you look at the 2-minute chart, I'll show you how I made sense of this 2-minute chart. Now my plan was to do this. This is what I was seeing in the 2-minute chart, but I have to tell you that despite my plan, I did actually get in up here. So I took a big position up here, but I knew my plan was going to work, so I traded without a stop. Now I know that sounds a bit crazy, but if you've got a plan, and I've seen these markets play out so many times, so many thousands of hours, I know what's going to happen. So I realised that as this was falling off up here, that this was going to drop back, and my whole plan was going to pan out. So, but instead of getting out up here, I just decided to sit in it and added to the position down here, and then traded it up and took some profit up here. Could have easily have re-entered down here because that was support. All it did was it broke out of support, pulled back. Markets do this all the time, and then ran up into the close. So I took it off into the close. But you can see, I don't ordinarily use 2-minute charts apart from the Dow and apart from the other close. I just think another way of looking at this is, let's see, you've got a breakout there. So there's the breakout, there's the pullback. You could have traded it, you could have waited until you get the breakout and just trade it there if you like. So I did mess my entry up, but just sat in it, took a little bit of heat, and then just ploughed it up. Okay. If you look at the previous close on the Dow, we had this move to the upside throughout the afternoon, then the pullback to support, got close to the close, and I kept seeing it hit these bottoms. So I just it closed below this support area, so I just stood back for a while. But when it moved up here and then threw down the hammer, I took this hammer and then traded that up into the last night's close there. And if we look at another close, this was a fabulous close here. Let me just take this current fibs off. Traded this one as well, and I mean, if you get these CBOs, just sit in them. Okay, you get, so it keeps moving up, selling off, selling off, selling off, gets lower, 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 and then it just breaks. This is short covering. This was back on the 4th when the markets had been very, very weak, selling off very, very heavily. When the markets finally broke into the close, yeah, this is just, you got a lot of momentum, a lot of push because of short covering. But so if you see a CBO break, just take the break and sit in it. You put your order back in there, or you could even, and I actually got in lower down here. Yeah, I mean there's stopping bars and hammers and all sorts down here. You could just take a little CBO down here if you want. You can get a pretty close stop. But yeah, that was good for 443. That was good for 300 points. Okay. So I mean, if you work full time, you could just trade the Dow at the end of the day. Right, let's look at the market. Okay, so here is the Dow. So we are coming nicely off these lows, but we are, as far as I'm concerned, still not out of the woods. I will not consider this a bullish market until we get through this channel. See, today we closed right up against it. So my 127 fibs it lined up with this. There's lots of areas that line up with this, hence the reason why that was my target. So the question is, where do we go from here? We need, got non-farm payroll tomorrow. This is going to be crucial. If non-farm payroll is good enough to break into this channel, then this market definitely stands a chance. If, however, we can't hold this and we start dropping and start hitting down these lows, this market is still in a lot of trouble. Okay, and even once we get into this area here, we've still got a break, come out the other side, and etc. Anyway, let's just, at the moment, if you did trade this swing trade long, I would suggest you might want to sort of break the rules a bit and lock in a lot of profits. Get your profits in, get your stop under maybe 10,900, that kind of level. Because if we drop, and ideally we need to give it much more room than that. I mean, underneath today's bar to really keep your stop out of trouble. Otherwise, you're just in danger of getting stopped out before it runs, if it does run. So let's see where that goes from here. Dollar is selling off. So hangman up there. 2 days of selling following that. Right, let's have a look at oil. Oil was on fire today, as you'd expect. There's the stopping bar down there, and we're up to 82.5. So same situation, non-farm payroll tomorrow. We need to break up through this level for oil to survive, otherwise oil and the Dow are in trouble. Let's look at some of these. Let's look at the oil stock I've been talking about, PTEN. Not as good. That surprises me. We've hit resistance. Yeah, it's hanging on tomorrow. If you took this, you might want to get a stop to break even, or give it a little bit of room and see if that can move. Let's have a look at. The corn ran into massive resistance, huge resistance, and sold off. So hanging on non-farm payroll. Apple holding up. Wow, very nice move on Baidu, BIDU, Chinese Google. Wow. So this is a very, very good stock. It's a day trader's dream. It's a huge, look at that, gaps up and runs. Huge move off these lows. You know, with a stock like this, it's actually worth buying the lows. Let's just see where the lows were. Yeah, look at that support down there. I think a lot of big money bought down there, and it's near the round 100 number. So in a matter of just a few days, you're hugely up, with the potential to close that gap. Look at that. I can see that closing that 138 pretty soon, the way that's going. Right, Forex. Aussie US, your longs are doing nicely, well done. Let's we are through resistance on the Aussie US, so just sit tight and enjoy the ride. US dollar CAD should be coming off nicely. Sit tight and enjoy the ride. We are just below support. We've broken support just by my reckoning. Pound, difficult one, very difficult one. We came down, potentially swept a lot of stops out. Let's see if we can break up 155. Then this one could be a little runner. This could be a double bottom, and we're getting ready to break out, but we need to wait. Euro is far superior to the pound at the moment. That is storming up, and yeah, look at this one, the resistance up here. We've broken up through resistance. This is significant. As long as non-farm payroll is not too bad, this has got plenty of room. The markets wanted to hear action in Europe. Particularly the Americans wanted to hear about that. The Americans regard Europe as a basket case in many respects, as do a lot of people in Europe. If that can break up through there, then we're going to get back to 140 pretty quick. Gold. Gold has come off nicely on the lows. I do think we could see a breakout. If we break that tomorrow, then we're going to get up to 1700 pretty quick, and who knows, maybe resume the march up to 2000, who knows. Alright, hope that helps. Any questions, let me know, and see you in the next update.